Musk says German election could decide fate of the world. Elon Musk spoke at a campaign event for Germany's controversial Alternative für Deutschland, or Alternative for Germany AfD, party over the weekend, ahead of an upcoming election in the country next month. On Saturday, AfD candidate Alice Weidel posted a video broadcast of the event on X, which included a roughly 10-minute speech from Musk, following his appointment last week as an advisor for newly inaugurated U.S. President Donald Trump. The AfD, which advocates for German nationalism, halting immigration into the country, preserving German culture and other related topics, has drawn concern and been called a far-right populist party by some critics. The appearance comes ahead of a German election being held on February 23rd, which Musk says could decide the entire fate of Europe, maybe the fate of the world. During the speech, he also spoke about preserving German culture and the removal of bureaucracy from Brussels, along with being affirmed by Weidel and the audience about the recent election of Trump, who has advocated for similar deregulatory and anti-immigration policies. Well, first of all, I wanted to really say that I'm very excited for the AfD, and I think you're really the best hope for Germany. Something I think that is just very important is that people take pride in Germany, and being German, this is very important. It's okay to be proud to be German. This is a very important principle. It's good to be proud of German culture, German values, and not to lose that in some sort of multiculturalism that dilutes everything. I think we want to have unique cultures in the world. You go to different countries, and you experience a different culture, and it is unique and special and good, and that the German government takes actions to protect its citizens, and make sure that it seeks the health and well-being of the German people. The German people are really an ancient nation. It goes back thousands of years. Read Julius Caesar's account of first encountering the German tribes in the Gallic campaigns, and he was very impressive. These are very, very powerful warriors. I think there's frankly too much of a focus on past guilt, and we need to move beyond that. Children should not be guilty of the sins of their parents or even, let alone their parents, their great-grandparents, maybe even. And we should be optimistic and excited about a future for Germany. That's really what it is, to be excited, to be optimistic about the future, to preserve German culture and protect the German people. And there are some other things that I think would be very helpful too, which is that I think you want more self-determination for Germany and for the countries in Europe, and less from Brussels. That's my opinion. I think there's too much bureaucracy from Brussels, too much control from global elite. And when I've given talks at these global government conferences, what I've said is there should be less global government, there should be more determination by individual countries. And so I very much hope that the AfD does well, and that Alice Weidel does become a chancellor. I think that would be very good for Germany, and I think it's very important. I hope the German people unite and strongly support AfD. You're doing the right thing, is what I'm saying. Let's go, guys, let's go. Fight for a great future for Germany. Fight for a great future for Germany. Go, 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 convince your friends, convince everyone, let's go. Get excited about the future, and if you want to make the future great, if you want the future to be great, you need to make it great, and fight for the future to be great. That's how it becomes great. I think we should fight for an exciting, bright future where people can be optimistic about what's going to happen, where you wake up and you look forward to the future. And the best way to ensure the future is good, you have to fight for a good future every day, and it will be great, and we'll have a very exciting, wonderful future. So, I think this election coming up in Germany is incredibly important. I think it could decide the entire fate of Europe, maybe the fate of the world. That is the significance of this election. So that's why it's very important to talk to your friends and family and convince them to consider voting for AfD, and just go with it like a chain reaction. Convince one friend, talk to another friend, and say, hey guys, do you want more of the last 10 years or do you want something different? And I think the people in Germany want something different, and if you want something different, you have to vote for a different party. This is just a fact. This is logic. So you are the future of Germany. Make it happen, but I can't emphasize enough. Go out there, talk to people, convince people one vote at a time. There's a need for change. It's got to be done. And this election is so important. It's extremely important. I do not say it lightly when I think the future of civilization could hang on this election. So when something is so important, you really need to say, okay, you're going to go all out to convince people to vote for AfD. And you certainly, obviously, you have my full support. I think the Trump administration is also supportive. So I think the policies that I've heard from AfD, they make a lot of sense. They're really just, to me, when I look at the policies, they're common sense policies. And just like President Trump has common sense policies, getting things done, getting the government out of people's way so that you can get things done, and giving people back personal freedom, and protecting the people from dangers. These are fundamental things that, frankly, the current government is not doing. Current government is suppressing speech very aggressively, and really, when you suppress freedom of speech, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to have a true democracy, because freedom of speech is the foundation of democracy. People cannot be expected to vote in an informed manner if they are not able to know the truth. So, this is why it's so important to have freedom of speech, so people can make an informed vote and it can be a true democracy. But this is not what the current government has been doing. They have been suppressing freedom of speech and putting people in jail for even mild criticisms of politicians or social media posts. This is crazy. This is, frankly, a totalitarian approach. It is not a democratic approach. So there needs to restore freedom to the people of Germany, and have freedom of speech, and have less government oppression in general. So anyway, I think I can't emphasize enough. Go do everything you can, full blast. Put every effort you can into this election. The fate of the world, I think, rests upon this election in Germany. It's extremely fundamental. Everything you can, please go all out. And go, fight. Elon Musk's past meetings with other world leaders and Donald Trump's re-election. In others, he reiterated his disdain for legacy media, adding that it would be another nail in the coffin. It was astonishing how insanely hard legacy media tried to cancel me for saying my heart goes out to you, and moving my hand from my heart to the audience. Musk wrote in an additional post on X on Friday. In the end, this deception will just be another nail in the coffin of legacy media. He also gained support this week from Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who said the Tesla and SpaceX head was being falsely smeared. Elon is a great friend of Israel, Netanyahu wrote on X following the event. He visited Israel after the October 7th massacre, in which Hamas terrorists committed the worst atrocity against the Jewish people since the Holocaust. He has since repeatedly and forcefully supported Israel's right to defend itself against genocidal terrorists and regimes who seek to annihilate the one and only Jewish state. Musk has also met with several world leaders over the past few years, even before his official endorsement of Trump last July. Many of these conversations have included similar concerns about immigration, population collapse, and the need for people to have more children, the civilizational risks of AI, and ambitions to make humans multiplanetary by landing on Mars, among many other adjacent topics. During campaign events leading up to the November election, Musk used similar language to his January speech for the AfD, noting that President Trump must win to preserve the Constitution and democracy, and saying that it would be the last election if voters didn't encourage others to register to vote. Source: reposted and summarized from Zachary Visconti at teslarati.